Alright, today we're going to walk you through how to play the solo version of the Outlaws. Now you've already seen how the regular game plays. The solo version isn't much different. We start by laying everything out just like we would normally with our 6 stacks to make the town, some starting loot for me, and then we're going to add in the sheriff. Now the sheriff card gives you a quick reference for all the rules, also gives you a good place to store the sheriff's reputation. Now the key difference between regular play and solo play is that when you're playing by yourself, before every turn you take, you're going to roll 2 dice for the sheriff. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll roll the sheriff his 2 dice. Now we can use this chart here to tell us what happens with those dice. Every time he rolls a loot, we discard a job. Every time he rolls a rep, he gets a rep, and every time he rolls a hit, we lose a character. And you can see that I've rolled 3 hits, which means that 3 of those characters are going to get discarded right away. Now I can discard whichever ones I want in whichever order I want, and I just keep discarding until those dice have been satisfied. So I'm going to start by discarding Frank here. There's only one other character on the board, so I've got to discard her. And unfortunately she revealed another character, which means I do have to use that last hit and discard that character as well. And that makes it my turn. And my turn plays just like normal. I can either hire a character, do a job, or report a tip. There's a character out there I can hire, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then it's back to the sheriff. So we roll the sheriff's 2 dice. Now he's got a loot and 2 hits. Now the loot means that he's going to discard a job. The 2 hits means he's going to discard 2 characters. So what I want to do is I want him to discard as few as possible. So I can try discarding this character and hoping that there's not another one underneath. Like so. And then I have to discard a job. Now as long as I discard a job that doesn't show a character, there's no other characters for him to discard from that hit, so I don't have to use it. So let's see if we can get lucky. And not so much. Alright, so we know he's discarded 1 character, there's still 1 left, we revealed 1, so it goes away. And that puts it back to my turn. Only 1 character out there, so I better buy her, so I'm ready to do some jobs. Alright, I now actually have a few stats, so I might be able to do some jobs next turn. And if the sheriff earns some rep, it might be worth it to do a job next turn. Alright, this time the sheriff's got 2 loot. And so as I look at the board, I can tell right away that none of those jobs are jobs that I could do right now. So it doesn't really matter which ones I discard. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the big one. And another big one, because I'm not ready to do big ones yet. Makes it my turn again. And it looks like I can't quite do any of the jobs out on the table, so I better hire another character so I can next time. So let's go ahead and drop a couple dollars on Lizzie, add her into my posse. Now I've got the stats that I can do a couple of these jobs out here, so I need to be a little careful if he ends up discarding cards. Sheriff's gonna go again. Looks like he's got 1 loot and 1 hit, so the loot makes him discard a job. I'm gonna go ahead and discard the job that I cannot do. And then for the character, there's only 1 out there, so that's the one I've got to discard. Back to my turn. And looks like there is at least 1 job I can do on the board. There's actually 2 jobs I can do on the board. But since the sheriff has no rep that I can steal, I'm not gonna do them yet. Because my best case is I might get some loot out of it, but if I earned rep and he doesn't have the rep to steal, then I won't get anything from it. So I'm gonna wait until the sheriff earns some more rep. That means I'm just gonna call in a tip this turn. Let's go ahead and get rid of this guy here. And back to the sheriff. Now now I want the sheriff to earn some rep. Normally you don't want him to earn any, but But he's got to have it before I can steal it. Now look at that. That couldn't have happened better. He earned himself 3 rep. That means the sheriff is now leading the game, but it also means that he's got some stuff I can steal. So now I definitely want to go on a job and try to steal all that rep from the sheriff. So...
But I see that you don't have any will in your posse, and this character gives you 2 will. What do you think? That's a tough call.
That's a very tough call.
She might go away next turn, but then again, so might the jobs.
You know, let's take the gamble. Let's go for a job, try to earn some rep, and then really, really hope that he doesn't roll any hits next turn and get rid of that character that we want.
Awesome.
Alright, so let's do... Looks like we can do the Moonlight Breakout job. In order to do that job, I have to send at least them, so I'll leave Bertha back in the base. I get 2 dice, so I'll go ahead and roll and hope for some reputation.
Ooh!
Couple of loot, that's not too bad. Nobody died, but the sheriff is still in the lead. Alright, which makes it the sheriff's turn again. Looks like the sheriff earned himself 2 more points of reputation, and he's going to get rid of 2 jobs. So those 2 rep, just going to drop on his card, and he's getting rid of 2 jobs. At this point, I can almost do most of those jobs out there, so I'm going to get rid of the cheap job, and I'm going to get rid of the one that'll be the hardest for me to do. Alright. And then our turn again. We've got... Yeah, we've got no will, so we do need to hire her in. It's a good thing the sheriff didn't get rid of her. So we'll pay our $4, add Ella into our posse, and right back to the sheriff, who's going to get rid of some more jobs. This could be problematic. Alright, there's only 3 jobs showing, and he rolled 3 loot, so he's going to get rid of 3 jobs. So what I want to do is get rid of the jobs that I know I can't do, or the jobs that are going to be harder for me to do. Let's get rid of that one. And then I've got 2 more to do. Let's go ahead and get rid of the easy job. And then 1 more. I'm thinking we might do this one here. We'll get rid of that one. Okay. Now if you'll notice, I kept discarding down into stacks because I wanted to leave that job there for me, because that's the one I want to do. So, being my turn again, that's the job we're going to do. Now in order to get that done, looks like we've got to send everybody except Bertha again. We get 4 dice this time. This time I really need some rep because the sheriff is racing ahead of us. 2. Okay. So it looks like I took 2 hits, scored 1 loot, and the 2 rep that I earned don't come from the bank. They come from the sheriff because he's the one I'm competing against. So I'm going to take 2 of his rep and add them into my stash. We're now creeping up on him. We're actually pretty close. He's only got 3 rep left and we've got 2. So another good job and we actually might pull ahead. Those 2 hits, I'm going to go ahead and assign them both onto Ella. Discard that job. And it's the sheriff's go again. Alright, he's got 1 rep, 1 hit. So the rep we take from the bank and give it to the sheriff. And then the 1 hit means 1 character goes away. Now which character that is entirely up to us. So I think we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get rid of one of the cheaper characters in the hopes that we can buy somebody else. And then on our turn, looks like we can do both of those jobs. They're pretty easy jobs, but every chance we get to earn rep is a good thing. So we're gonna go ahead and take on the Ghost Ranch. And I think all we're gonna send is Ella. We'll leave everybody else safe in the base. So we get 1 die for the Ghost Ranch. And scored 2 rep out of it. Alright, it's the best we could have hoped for. Again, those 2 rep come from the sheriff. We'll add those into our stash. We are now in the lead. Means we better enjoy that while we can, because it happens pretty rarely. Alright, it's back to the sheriff. Looks like sheriff's got 2 hits and a rep. The rep he takes from the bank, goes onto his card, he's now catching up to us. And the 2 hits are going to be 2 characters that he discards. So we're going to take a moment, we're going to look at the characters that are out there and discard the ones that we think will be the least useful to us. I think that's going to be that one and that one. Alright, now our turn comes back, and it looks like we can do a couple jobs out there. So we're going to go ahead and run Fortune at the Fort. And try to solidify our lead in front of the sheriff, so that when things go horribly wrong, we don't lose completely. Alright, looks like Bertha's staying back in the base. Everyone else is going on the job. We get 3 dice. And, alright, this is going really well. We got 2 rep out of the deal, which we're going to steal directly from the sheriff, putting us solidly in the lead until he goes again. And then 2 loot and another 2 loot, so we're going to get 4 loot out of the deal. Alright. We're on a good streak here. That job's going to get discarded, and it's back to the sheriff. Sheriff rolls 2 loot and 2 loot again. Alright. So we've got 4 jobs we have to get rid of. There's only 3 on the board, so we're going to start with the ones we want the least and hope that they don't reveal more jobs. We'll start here. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. Oh, it did reveal another job, so that one's got to go away too. And there's 4. Now the dice have been satisfied. And it's our turn again. Alright, there is still a job out there we can do, but being this far ahead, I think we might hire a character and try to shore up any weak spots we've got. That's gonna be... looks like we're gonna hire in Papa for $3. And give us a couple extra points. Hopefully that'll let us do some of those really big jobs if we didn't discard them all already. And it's back to the sheriff. Sheriff's got a point of rep, which he takes from the bank, and 2 hits, so 2 of those characters are going away. We're going to go ahead and get rid of the bear. Oh, that clears that stack. And we'll go ahead and get rid of Wild Man as well. And now, we'll go ahead and try the biggest job we can. Looks like that's going to be a Prospector Pillage. Should be everybody we need to send to get the stats right. We get 3 dice. And that didn't go quite as well as we would have hoped. Alright, we took 2 hits, but we did score 2 loot out of the deal. Alright, a couple loot goes in our stash. And then those 2 hits, looks like those are going to take out Ella and Ida are both going away. That makes it the sheriff's turn again. Alright, looks like he's got another 2 rep coming his way. And 2 loot means he gets rid of 2 jobs. Now after that catastrophic loss of the last job, we can no longer do the Pony Express jobs. So we're going to go ahead and just discard that one as one of the 2 he needs to get rid of. And then we'll go ahead and get rid of the ammo wagon job as well. Now, our turn again. Looks like we have just barely enough to do the awesomest train job ever. So we are absolutely going to try that out. Let's send everybody on that job. Roll 3 dice and hope for the best. Alright. Looks like we've got 2 rep, which we will steal from the sheriff. It's starting to look like we might actually win this thing. And 2 loot, which we'll take from the bank. And back to the sheriff. Alright, sheriff scores himself another rep. And 2 loot means he gets rid of 2 jobs. Now there's no jobs showing at all, so we don't go digging. If he can't use the dice, then we don't use the dice. That makes it our turn again. And no jobs we can do. So let's use some of this loot we've been earning and hire in a character. We're just going to go ahead and grab that preacher. And the sheriff's turn. Another point of rep for the sheriff. And he rolled another job. No jobs out there. That makes it our turn again. Alright, let's go ahead and hire in some more characters. So let's go ahead and grab Laura Pickett this time. Add her into our posse, so that when a job does come up, we can jump on it right away. Sheriff's gonna go again. Looks like 2 rep. Alright, the sheriff is on a comeback run. I'm not sure how I feel about this. He's up to 6, and we're at 8. Alright. He also rolled 1 hit. That means one of those characters goes away. We're going to go ahead and get rid of Mary, because she seems like she'd be the least useful to our posse right now. And then our turn. There's only 1 job out there, and it's only worth 1 die, but I think we're going to give it a shot, because we need everything we can possibly get. So we're going to go ahead and do the bicycle job. And it looks like all we need to send Bertha and Laura. We'll send them out to go grab some bicycles. Everyone else will stay in the hideout. We get 1 die for it. And take 1 hit. Okay, so apparently bicycles are very dangerous objects. Exercise caution when you go to rob them. Otherwise, they might take down Bertha. Alright, and the sheriff goes again. The sheriff earned another point of rep. We're now only ahead by 1. And there's another hit on there, so another character is going away. This time I think it's gonna be Minnie. Our turn again. And we've only got $2 left. All the characters cost 3. So I guess we're calling in a tip. Let's go ahead and call a tip on Babyface. Discard him. Take our loot and right back to the sheriff. 4 loot means he discards 4 jobs. Again, no jobs are showing. We got really lucky that time. And right back to our turn. We now have $3, so we're going to spend them on Jose. Add him into our posse. The sheriff goes again. Alright. 2 loot and 2 hits, so he's going to get rid of 2 jobs and 2 characters. I guess we'll start with characters, because that's all that's there. So we'll go ahead and get rid of Bulldog. And we'll get rid of the kid. It did reveal a job, so we have to get rid of that one. That's one of the 2 that he needs. And there's the second job that he needed to discard. That hurt. And back to our turn. We have no loot to hire any of those characters. So we'll call in a tip. Let's go ahead and call in a tip on the ace. Take our 1 loot for doing so. And the sheriff goes again. Alright, this went poorly. So, sheriff earned himself 3 rep. The sheriff is now in a solid lead. And we might be able to make it back. So we're going to go ahead and take on the Santa Fe Railway on our turn. And we're just going to send everybody on this job. There's 4 dice there. And if we can win some rep from the sheriff, we just might take it. Then again, we may not. Alright, we got 3 rep out of that job. And we took 2 hits. Or 3 loot, sorry. We took 2 hits, so we'll go ahead and assign those 2 hits over here to the characters that can survive them. That job is gone, and it's the sheriff's turn again. Sheriff only rolls 2 dice. Alright. The sheriff earns himself... 3 jobs go away. There's no jobs on the board. That makes it our turn. And we're gonna go ahead and hire in Martha for $1. Add her into our posse. The sheriff goes. 2 hits and 1 loot. So he gets rid of a character. And he gets rid of a job. That's the last card in the deck. The game is over, and it looks like the sheriff took us this time. We ended up with 8 rep, and the sheriff ended up 4, 6, 8, with 10. So he took us by 2 rep this time, which is actually not too bad, all things considered. The solo game is built to be pretty challenging. You'll win it about as often as you win solitaire with a regular deck of cards. So when you do win, you have a reason to celebrate.